Hello, welcome back for another Tower Guide episode 6 review. And I know I missed last episode. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't feel like it. But that's besides the point. I'm here for this episode. Let me just say it was a really good episode. It was pretty smooth overall. It didn't have too much fighting, but it had a lot of expedition, which I was really into. And so it helped out with the world building and everything. And so I'll just get into that when I get into the overall review. But as of right now, I just want to say that the episode was overall just good. I really enjoyed it. But enough with the introductions. Let's get straight into what happened within the episode. The episode first starts off with Rachel meeting Bam, who's in a coma, and pretty much talking to Kun about how she can't really talk to Bam right now, or be connected with Bam, and climb the tower with him. And Kun is kind of like, don't really trust what you're saying. Next we cut to Anak, who has now the Black March, and pretty much she's not able to use the Black March because the Black March only apparently speaks to women. Not women, men, and apparently only speaks to handsome men, but I'm pretty sure only speaks to Bam. But pretty much you just have that sort of conflict right there with Anak. Before I get into what happened later half of the episode towards the ending, there was a bit of foreshadowing towards the ending with the door scene, and which, by the way, I want to say I saw everyone going on crazy on Twitter because I was looking on Twitter after episode 5 dropped, and everyone was saying best girl, blah blah, this, that, and the other. And I agree. After watching episode 5, I was like, okay, I like Adore. She's pretty cool. I like her personality. But after this episode, I'm like, yo, Dorsey really is best girl. And I mean, there's not really that many like females introduced in Tower of God yet. It's only like Rachel and that one girl who's like kind of like contrast with Shibisu. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Oh, you have a knock too, and I like a knock. But a Dorsey, she's right up my alley. But pretty much you have a Dorsey talking to a knock and how she's an quote unquote imposter. In the beginning, when I heard that, it kind of filled in the gap of my theory, because I was originally thinking Anak is not a real jihad, simply because the 3 jihads that we got so far is YUUR, Anak, and Adorsi. And Adorsi and YUUR are 2 humans, or what I would assume is humans, but Anak is a lizard. So my theory was kind of like Anak isn't a real jihad. And so when she said an imposter, I'm like, okay, this kind of confirms my theory that Anak isn't really a jihad. But as the episode continued, we get the information drop of how the jihad princesses work. And so that really confirms a lot of things, because I was really confused. And if you remember, I think it was episode 2, 3, 4. I don't know what episode, I can't remember. But in that review, I was asking about the princess system and how that really works and how everyone's kind of related, but it doesn't make sense, especially since Anak is a lizard versus 2 humans. And so I was really confused, but I'm glad they really cleared it up here, because now we find out that the princesses are kind of like a poster child to the tower, and how none of them aren't actually related, but however they just have all been selected from different tribes and different peoples. So I like that bit of expedition, and I'm glad that really filled in some gaps that I had for the overall story. As in, another thing I want to talk about, and that is the Rachel and Bam relationship. And beyond what happened in the beginning of the episode, what really made me curious and made me think was when Rachel was having a flashback in the room to Bam. And it wasn't really a flashback, but it was more or less her looking at Bam and realizing that he's kind of growing independent without her. And I guess for Rachel, that really hurts us, because in the beginning, Rachel was everything to Bam. And now from her perspective, she's looking at Bam as if he's this kid who still needs protecting, but apparently he's gaining all these friends, so he doesn't really need protecting anymore. So she kind of feels like she's become a sort of a second fiddle to all these friends that he's gathering. But in actuality, the way Bam feels about Rachel is the way that Rachel thinks Bam should feel about her. So I find that dynamic pretty interesting, and I'm curious on where that plot line goes. Before I get into the last 2 things I want to talk about probably within the episode, I want to talk about the boy Bam's new drip. This outfit that he got this episode was pretty nice. My boy dripping. But the other outfit, it was cool, but this black and kind of like brownish gold-ish, it looks real nice on him. My boy got some drip out here. But other than that, I want to talk about is these classifications, and I also do want to speak on the contracts a bit too, because I find that a bit not odd but interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, we haven't been introduced to anything like that before. I'm pretty sure I misread or overread it and didn't remember it, or just didn't read it at all. But did they ever explain what the contracts really do, or what they really are? Because I get you make a contract and everything and get like this demon and everything or whatever, but what do the contracts really do? I think I skipped over that piece of information, but if it was explained in this episode, can someone just please explain to me in the comments? So we learned about these positions that apparently you are supposed to take within battle. There's apparently 5 of them: fisherman, spear bearer, light bearer, scout, and wave controller. And so what we got introduced to in the beginning of the episode was the fact that Yuri is a fisherman. And so initially I thought she was like a legit fisherman, but apparently that's one of the positions. And I thought this was pretty cool, pretty interesting. It definitely helps expand sort of the power system, or at least the way the power system is being implemented. So this was just pretty cool overall. We found out that Bam is a wave controller, but these positions are like just overall just dope because it really fills in every gap of what I guess a team would need to be, or so to speak. However, I thought that was pretty fine, pretty cool. I love the way it expanded the power system, or at least the way it's being implemented. As for what I want to talk about last within the episode is of course the Dorsey versus Anak fight, and it's more or less have to deal with, of course, the backstory of Anak. And so finding out that Anak was, well, an actual imposter, but yet not a imposter. So we find out that Anak is actually not Anak. We found out that she's the daughter of the person who is actually named Anak. And so that was pretty interesting to find out. But what interests me more was the fact that Dorsey called her her niece. And so when she called her her niece, it really confuses me because they're not related unless somehow Anak's mother is somehow related to Dorsey or something like that. But for the most part, assuming since she's a lizard, they're not related. Or wait, now think about it, she might be related to the father. I don't know. I do like Anak's motivation now that we just got, because now we find out that she hates all the Jihad princesses and princesses, and now she wants to kill all of them because apparently the Jihad princesses killed her mother. And I guess that kind of makes sense why Dorsey called her her niece, is because she's a princess to Anak's mother, well, a sister to Anak's mother. But that backstory is really cool to see. I like Anak's motivation. I like her backstory, so I thought that was really cool. And so overall, this episode I thought was really good. No, it's pretty laid back, chill episode, but the exposition in it I thought was worthwhile. That was really good. But however, that's pretty much it for the review. I really enjoyed this episode. The expedition, as I said, was really good. Gave me a lot of context about the different characters, especially Anak's. And I hate that Crunchyroll ended it on that cliffhanger, because that cliffhanger got me excited for the next episode. But I hope you all have enjoyed this review. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.